have the fondest memories of college library.
We differ on that for sure.
Welcome to Reframe and Reclaim. We are Courtney Huckabee, a psychotherapist,
and Jen Harris, an interior designer,
who have teamed up to reflect,
challenge,
and reframe your mindset in relationship with your personal belongings. Find the reframe.
Start your reclaim.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Reframe and Reclaim. I'm Courtney Huckabee.
And I'm Jen Harris.
And we are here in February to talk about National Library Lovers Month.
It's the month of love. Love your library.
Love our libraries. And we're going to talk about our experience with the libraries and how wonderful libraries are. And I'm curious, Jen, what are some of your experiences in childhood or growing up or even currently that you have with the library?
I do. I always loved going and like the excitement of picking out new books. And, back when I was younger, you could only get 10. 10 was the max. But now when I go to the library, it's like 30 per person. It's so many. Yeah. And so it was 10. So it's like, oh, what 10 am I going to get? And, I got to make sure I get the right 10 because, I don't want to pick the wrong book. Lots of pressure put on, even though I can just go back and get more. But for me, the other thing I always remember is always having overdue books.
Oh.
I always, I got the books and then 3 weeks later it's like, oh yeah, I forgot to turn that in. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah. I remember in elementary school, do you remember having like the library card that'd be in the front and they'd like write your name and they would like write the date it was due. And I was so afraid all of the time that that one piece of like cardstock was going to fall out of the front envelope of the book and I wouldn't know when to return it. So I was always anxious about making sure it got returned on time. But I remember like the late fees, returning a late book was like 30 cents.
Yes.
Like $1.25 if it was really late. So I remember that growing up. But I have the fondest memories of college library.
We differ on that. For sure.
College library was like you had to study and you needed to study, but you also wanted to hang out with your friends. And so I really loved just like taking my stuff, finding a study group, hanging out at the library, like drinking as much coffee as I could, staying up as late as I could, getting as much studying done as I could while doing that with friends. And I do remember college library was like a definite hangout for me. Definitely. But not for you so much, no?
No. Well, let's say, okay, so I will say, but being in design school, though, it's a lot different because you have a lot more labs, right? And so my memories are more, and I should separate, like I went to 2 different colleges. I got my associate's degree at an all-women's college called Cody, and I went to High Point University in North Carolina to get my bachelor's. And so at High Point University, it was all labs and it's all design stuff. And so my memory of college is Saturday nights seeing it was all the business majors. I don't know who it was, but they're like, there goes all the business majors and they're going out to party on Saturday nights. We're in the lab working hours and hours and hours and hours. We see them stumble home and we're still in there working.
Wow.
And so
the lab was your kind of
the
like
lab
your library.
Long hours. And I still have like memories of like certain songs that were really popular because iPads and stuff were just coming out. And so we would listen to the radios of the same CDs over and over again. To this day, I'll hear certain songs and it's like I have PTSD. And it's like
right back.
It's like I hate this song because I heard it so many times between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m. No, that has nothing to do with libraries. I apologize. I just went on a whole mental trip down memory lane.
And honestly, thinking back to those things, it takes you back to the anxiety and the stress and the really long nights that both of us had, just different environments.
Yeah, so I'm appreciative. The memories I do have of the library are positive. Not the college library, but as a child, yes.
Yeah.
And today too. I take my sons to the library. My oldest son loves reading, so we make regular trips.
Yeah, and we have a home library for my son too. Like, it was very important for me to make sure that he, had books and he would, love reading, and he's growing in the footsteps of your our oldest son. He loves reading. He loves learning. And so we have started to introduce the library, but he's still at the age he wants to play at the playground at the library. But when he was younger, the library has so many fun programs and activities. My son has done like baby sign language. He's done yoga. They've done some fun festivals and events for children. I know they have a maker space lab. So my husband has taken my son to do some stuff. So there's really great opportunities and resources at your public libraries.
Yeah, our old library also had things like almost like a Comic-Con for teenagers where they could come and cosplay. They had they partnered with the Humane Society or the Humane Shelters, local shelters, and so whenever they would have new animals come, they would bring them to the library and have people be exposed, and so they'd be exposed to lots of people petting them and just trying to get them acclimated to people. And then of course they also had like play areas for kids, and it was also one of the first places my kids, did worked on their spelling and got to type on computers and use the mouse to try and find where books are and learn about good old Dewey Decimal and how to find the
Decimal
books.
catalog system. So much fun. Yeah, and my little boy this first summer, we're still like in the trying to learn how to read. He's 4, almost 5. Did a summer reading program, and so for every book that he allowed me to read, we would write the book down, and for so many books, we would go and get like a prize at the library. And so I think it's just so great to get involved. And we've been involved. Reframe and Reclaim have been involved in some libraries in the area, and so that's been a really great way for us to connect with the community. Our book is in many libraries and in the public Libby system. So if you have a public library, you can request our books be on your Libby audio and electronic book system.
Yep, and then the audiobook's available too through the library if you'd rather listen in. That's another resources. We've done a couple speaking engagements at the libraries, which have been fun because those environments have been really nice because you can really connect with the audience and get really personal with their particular questions and needs, and so those have been really fun.
And I think it's really neat. I always used to remember like meeting an author. I would always like want their autograph and everything. And now that we are authors, it's like, yeah, we wrote this book, but we have a bigger mission than just the book. We really want to help people. And so having those speaking engagements at the communities and in the libraries has allowed people to meet us and learn more about the Reframe and Reclaim process, and also give resources and be able to ask those questions.
Yes. And again, it's all about that connection. Like you were saying, it's beyond the book. It's helping. The one thing I always hear over and over again whenever we do help someone is how much lighter they feel, right? Or it's like, I didn't know it could be like this. And so being able to share that and spread that mission and that message as much as we can is really enjoyable.
Yes. So we're really happy to be partnering with the library system here in Texas and hope to expand beyond that. I know I love the libraries as a young child, always be anxious about losing that library, return card inside. They don't do that anymore. Thankfully, they gotten smarter, just digital. But there's also been some really great books that I have loved, not just in the physical libraries, but my own Kindle library.
Yes.
So I'm curious, what's on your reading list, or what has been on your reading list lately?
Well, I have a lot of self-help. I have a lot of like celebrity memoirs. I find those really interesting. But those are probably my 2 genres that I do the most. But something I did read recently or listen to in my audiobook, recommended by a friend of mine, is called Stiff by Mary Roach. And it's kind of just like what it sounds. So it talks about what happens to cadavers after you donate your body to science.
Oh,
super interesting. Very, like, not something I would normally grab, but she's like, this is fascinating, and she wants to donate her body to science and things you don't think about. So it's like used for plastic surgery. Like you might be used for a crash test. It might be used for all sorts of things. And then it goes into kind of the policies about, and it's like, well, if you donate your body, but you're being tested on with weaponry, a lot of people don't really want to volunteer for that. So we don't really tell the families. And so then on the back end, there can be, litigation and just the things you don't think about, the things you don't think about after you leave this earth.
And I know there are a lot of people who want to give back in different ways. There's organ donors. There's people who want to donate their body to science. There's people who want to have their remains to help with Mother Earth and continuing life in those ways. So I think it's really great to give back, but sometimes after you're not here, you don't always have a choice in what that is. So,
and it even goes into like the history of cadaver, like burials and how it kind of happened, and then just different ways you can have your body buried or processed, after you pass. So, anyways, it was just a very interesting
light read.
Yes. What about you?
Well, I tried my best to keep up with clients' questions and needs and wants. I haven't done any really light reading in a little while. Usually my light reading is more of like TV watching. So that'll be my mindless stuff. I may watch a show or something. But some of the books I'm reading right now are like, Transcending Trauma by Dr. Frank Anderson. So it's really about trauma work and how to work through trauma with clients and understanding how trauma impacts the brain and the body and how to unlock that and heal that. So not as light reading. It's not easy reading, but it's so important for me and my profession.
Yes.
And then one book that my office read the last year, 2 years together was The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, however you say his name. And it's really great because it's actually talking about technology and our brains and how our brains are wired and how that impacts mental health. And so that's really important because I experience that. I know when I'm on social media or when my kid is watching a lot of screen time, we are both just a little dysregulated in different ways. And so understanding that a little better and just being more aware of that has been really helpful in my personal life, but also in helping clients who are struggling with that too. Yeah,
it's good to be on top of your profession, and again, I always looking out for your clients. I know you do a lot for them, so like that you're looking at all aspects of how to help them.
Yeah. One popular book that my clients have been talking about a lot is The Let Them Theory.
Yes.
And, Mel Robbins is really great at, really voicing this theory. A lot of people don't know that the Let Them Theory isn't anything new. It is actually something that, it's called the locus. But it is psychology about understanding what we have control over and how to make sense of what we do, respond to, how we interact with others or choices we make. And so I'm really glad that Mel Robbins is making it popular to understand the psychology and really the understanding of the social construct of how relationships work. So that's a fun one.
I've heard about that one a lot. So is it a pretty easy read or?
I have dyslexia, so I love a good audiobook, and Mel Robbins is reading it, so it's very energetic. It's very loud. It's very, who she is as a person. So you can't really fall asleep listening to it. But it's a fun thing to listen to. I think if you were to read it, it would be an easy read. Very conversational.
I do love good conversational books.
Yeah, like ours.
Like ours, yes. Another book I read recently is called The Other Significant Others by Raina Cohen. And this was really kind of eye-opening because, at least for me being raised and maybe just the age I am, but it was very defined about like what family is. And this is how you live your life. And you go out and you buy a house and you do these things, you get a career, your kids, and it's like all spelled out. And this book really talks about the friends and the friendships you build that become family and how you can change and redefine what family is and construct it in a way that works for your life. So there's all different examples they give in the book of people. So like one example is like two elderly women who decide to live together to take care of each other, and they can hold each other accountable for like their medicines and take each other to doctor's appointments, and they have that companionship. There's other examples of people who it's multiple families kind of living in a compound situation, or friends who want to raise kids together. And so just different ways to think of family. And I think, especially, at least for me, the way the state of the world is, trying to figure out your tribe and where you are and how to get that support, especially when, all our lives I was taught, like, you leave the house and then, that's, you go do it on your own, and then you're just paying for someone else to watch your kid. And there's a whole other issues. There's pros and cons to everything, but I've really thought about, like, how I want to raise my kids and how the support they need and how to build that for them. So,
and I will say, it's something that we've talked about on our podcast before, but also a lot in life in general, is having community and making sure that we're actually connecting with others. And a lot of times we're born into families that are wonderful and loving and nurturing and supportive. And there are some times where we don't feel that from our families that we're born into, and finding support outside of that, whether it's through friendships or coworkers or community people in your neighborhood. There can be a lot of ways to receive support and connect with others. And I think that is one thing that we need to get back into, when it comes to life in general, is just like an in-person connection.
yes.
Social media is wonderful. The news is great just to be aware and kind of in tune, but it's not always connection. And that's what a lot of people really are seeking out right now.
Yes. And again, that book directly addresses that, right? So I highly recommend it. The Other Significant Others. Great, great read. Going along with building community, another great book I read this past year is The Danish Secret to Happy Kids by Helen Russell. And it looks at other cultures and how they raise kids. But it's really kind of the whole theme of it is like how to raise a Viking. It's just
strong,
yes.
hardy,
and just interesting aspects. Like my big takeaways were, there's no such thing as bad weather. You just go play outside no matter what. It's building safe communities and teaching kids that people are here. Like, you shouldn't be afraid of your neighbor. It's a safe community. And along with that, the adults understand kids are going to make mistakes and it's okay. And they kind of embrace the wildness of it, and really, I feel like, give the kids the freedom to be kids. Another big takeaway I thought was interesting is the kids always kind of have a say in, like, they're given choices, but they have the freedom to choose which choice they want. And it really goes back to their drive and love for democracy. And it's like, we don't want a repeat of World War II. And so we really, like, democracy is instilled in kind of all aspects of their life. And so I thought that was really interesting. And the author's from the UK, and she moved to Denmark for her husband's job. And the funny thing is, she would always ask people, like, well, what do you think of the UK and where I'm from? And they're like, there's so many crisps, and those are like potato chips. She's like, everybody thinks of crisps. I don't understand why. They're like, how do your kids eat crisps all day and then you expect them to go run and play? Like, they'll have no energy. And so, they're eating lox and, fish and really heavy snacks and meals all throughout the day. So that was another fun, just a little cultural difference and takeaway. So that was a fun little read.
Yeah. One thing about, being a parent is you get lots of advice and opinions on how you should and how is best.
The S word.
Yeah. And so I really love, hearing, and I've done a lot of reading of parenting too, like the Parisian parent and the Danish way, of the Finnish way of doing things too is really great. I think being a parent educator, I think it's really important. There's no right and wrong, but what works really well for you and your family, and what's not going to break the relationship. Talking about the rupture and the fear mongering and things that can happen, and intimidation in parenting. But I think, going back to the library lovers, there's some really good books for everybody to check out. And we want to hear your favorite books. We want to hear the resources that you love about your libraries. And if our book, Reframe Reclaim, isn't at your library, you definitely ask your librarian to put it in their catalog. But We are so thankful for the libraries. It's definitely brought us up to be lovers of reading, now authors, which is a really big milestone for us. And we hope to continue to share just the mission of Reframe and Reclaim, and using the libraries as a really great resource to do that.
Yes, thank you to all the librarians out there and everyone working in their communities to give all these resources and opportunities for everyone to enjoy all the books that we